What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today's video we're looking at American football versus rugby union. Can NFL football players handle a game of rugby? Are they indeed tough enough to handle a tackle without the big shoulder pads, the knee guards, and of course the big old helmet? Can they do it? Now, why am I doing a video like this? Well, a few days ago, NFL football player Marquette King had made a comment saying if he had to play rugby, he would absolutely dominate the sport. And I think it just shows the power of a rugby community because they have definitely everyone, no matter if they're rivals or not, every rugby community has gotten together to give old Mr. King a bit of a roast, and he has certainly got it. But I have to give credit to him. He's taken it quite much like a sport. But in response to his interesting tweets, the All Blacks have said, "You're welcome to join us for training at any time." I mean, there's been numerous. I mean, there's another one. Simon Rolari. This is, I love the confidence. If you wish, I could organize a little 10-meter gauntlet with Rudrada, Tuizova, Yatu, Nakara, and Mata as an introduction. I can even format the drill to suit 50 seconds on and 50 minutes off. Another one. And then he went on to do a poll. Which sport would you find the better overall athlete? Now, obviously, with him being an NFL player, you'd think his audience would completely back him and would completely stick behind the man who played in the NFL for the Broncos, who are well known. And the poll got 22,000 votes, and 78.6% have said rugby would find the better overall athlete. And I mean, come on, it just goes to show that the people are just here, and that everyone is just genuine. But it's also makes a fact. And it's a question that a lot of people are wondering, can NFL players do it? To be fair, in their defense, it's a totally different sport, played in different sections. Certain tackles are allowed, certain tackles aren't. You're only allowed to do X when you do Y, and a lot of stoppages opposed to, it's a big different sport. But to be fair, with the shoulder tackling, I mean, Jerry Springer once said many years ago to the late great Chester Williams, "How can you guys play with no guards, no padding, no helmets?" And Chester just replied, "Because we're tougher. We don't need it." And I mean, it's always been a joke back and forth. But here's another one. Neil Back, MBE. He replied saying, "Really? Leave your pads and helmet in your bag." So he's definitely got a roast for him, and he's gotten slaughtered. So what I thought I would do is just come up with a little comparisons for us to have a look at between the differences of American football and our good sport of rugby. Just a few things to, obviously rugby's worldwide, so you would generally get a popular audience. But I mean, when NFL kicks in, you got the Super Bowl. It's one of the most watched sporting tournaments in world rugby. It definitely has a big support. But the Rugby World Cup did well too. If we look at field length, it's 120 yards, 109 meters. So that, for a rugby game, you got 100 meters as well. Player size, NFL players, Brandon Banks at this time of this article was 70 kgs, was at 1.67, and was the lightest NFL player since 2010. NFL player, one of the largest, was 162 kgs. And then another one, the largest running back, was 122. The lightest rugby player to ever play international rugby at this time of this article was Gordon McGee at 58 kgs. Largest rugby international, Bill Kavabati, was 165.3 kgs. And his heaviest of all times was 201.7 kgs, which for our American fans is about 442 pounds. It's just short of the weight of the Big Show for WWE fans. Protective gear, helmet, shoulder chest pad protector, upper leg padding, and a mouth guard are rightfully required. Players in rugby, though, are only allowed a modest padding on head, shoulders, and collarbone, which is normally your taping, and only require a mouth guard. Only a mouth guard is required. No helmet, of course. Biggest major tournaments, the playoffs, of course, versus the Rugby World Cup. If we go on average contact per game, according to this article, it says average tackles per game per player fall with the highest record at 4,600 LBS, consistent contact away from the ball with downfield blocking with contact, as severe as a tackle. Average tackles per game in rugby per player is 16. Average head impact is 1,600 LBS of force recorded from members in the LA rugby team by Sports Science. Now, obviously, this is for a pretty much American-based article, but it's interesting. It's still showing rugby as a tougher one. I mean, it's just offers something more exciting for us as fans. Where I couldn't watch pausing. I've tried to watch NFL a few times, and don't get me wrong, it is exciting, and I like the game Madden, but it's just starting, and I get bored very quickly. Time limit for 15-minute quarters with a halftime intermission after the clock. After the second quarter, the game clock stops frequently between plays. And obviously, it's rugby, 2 40-minute halves with 10-minute half time. Clock only stops for prolonged injuries. We obviously know the differences of the balls. For a number of players, 11 players per team on the field at any point, whereas rugby team consists of 15 players for union. So, interesting stuff. For me, rugby union any day of the week, but obviously I am South African. I am in a rugby-born nation, whereas a lot of guys, obviously in America, will be pretty much NFL-based, but worldwide, whereas this is pretty much known mainly Canada and the States. So yeah, it's an interesting battle and debate we can have for days and days. But for me, you can't stop me from watching rugby. I just think it's bigger. But yeah, I don't think he'll be making a comment like that anytime soon. He still is actually, but I think the union and rugby in general community, I think whether it's league or union, united together in order to prove the points that were proven, which is brilliant. I thought it was absolutely classic. So good on you guys, the rugby community, for sticking by us all, because it just shows that we can unite together as one. But I've got to end this video off with a comment from the king of rugby YouTube, Squidge. He said, "If I was a bicycle, I'd win the Tour de France." Now, Marquette King has retweeted this and said, "This is my favorite tweet of 2020 so far. So well done, Squidge Rugby, for putting our sport on the map in the States. You legend. Keep it at it." Phenomenal stuff. That's going to do it for today's video. Something different. Hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you real soon for another one. Stay safe and never give up. Cheers.